Hello and welcome. Introducing the Applied Economics minor. My name is Stephen Wallen, MBA. I'm here on behalf of the Finance and Economics Department of UVU to discuss this with you about why you might want one. There could be some personal reasons, career reasons, and a whole lot more, but let's kind of run through this all and see about why minor in economics would be useful to you. Because that's what it comes down to. It's about incentives, right? That's what economics is the study of. How would this be useful? Let's dive in. Let's find out. All right, number one, when everyone looks at things, it's going to be how is this going to help me with my career? So when we think about a career in economics, sometimes we're like thinking about maybe it's a sliver and it's just this very narrow thing. No, economics affects a broad range of things. It's much more than you think. So with these career paths, as I read them, think about how these might be grouped together. So we have an actuary as far as analysis, we have financial risk analysis, political risk analysis, statistician, data scientist, diplomatic service officer, local government officer, stockbroker, and finally academia. So let's kind of go through this first list here. We have a lot of analysis, actuary, financial, political. With economics, a lot of it's going to be theory and data modeling, and you can't do good analysis work unless you have the theory and data modeling to back it up. The same can be said for the next two, statistician and data scientist. You need to make sure you're actually testing things correctly. You have the theories, and that way you can go through and apply them. There's tons of jobs now in statistician and data scientists because we're moving to more of a data-centered economy. And so those jobs are in high demand. They pay well. And I mean, just look at Qualtrics as far as what they have been doing recently in the area. Diplomatic service officer, local government officer. As we look at economics, we have to make sure that as we do policies, we know what policies have been done in the past, what the effects were, what policies we're proposing, what the effects will be of those, and we have to be able to correlate those with both economic theory and data. So all that's going to be in that area. Stockbroker. If you're going to be a stockbroker or work in those areas, you have to be able to read the news and, more importantly, predict it. And predictions only happen if you have modeling and theory. And if you have the right economic background, you're not only going to know about what news is going on today, but why it's important and what the probable news is going to be in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then finally, academia. If you're going to go into further academia, especially postgraduate work, economics is going to give you the tools that you need to really understand the theory and data modeling to do well in postgraduate work. Also, it looks good as far as getting into those programs. But yeah, this is just some of the things I have here listed on career paths. Definitely discuss and talk more with your professor or instructors. Anyone here at the Woodbury School are willing to help you with more to look into these. All right. What's it actually look like? So the minor in applied economics, this is for fall 2024, might be changes in the future. As of right now, you have a core courses of 18 credits. So you have business calculus and math 1210, principles of economics 1 and 2, managerial economics, and then we get into economic modeling and data analytics and principles of applied econometrics. So you see we got a little split there as far as looking at more of the theory and a little bit more of the data analysis to actually build out those data models. And finally, you can then tailor it more to where you want to go. If you want to go more like health economics, behavior economics, international economics, money and banking, public finance, you name it, we have it up there and more to come. But the goal is that then you can start diving into what you're more interested in and then help this align to getting you into that career field. Again, you can look more at this at the website we have listed here. But let's go ahead and deep dive into some of these areas. So health economics issues. I want you to just think to yourself, what is the impact of changing doctors' incentives to request exams and prescribe medications? What changes could we make, and how would these incentives change the way they do exams and do medications? What are the effects of maternal age at birth on children's short and long-term outcomes? I mean, that's really straightforward. We can get the data on that. We can then look at the regressions. How does healthcare insurance affect the behavior of people that are insured? And this is one of those things where it's like game theory. It's like, if I have this, how then will I act? Lots of great things to look at. And then to understand this more, we have our tool set. We use data visualization, design hypothesis testing, apply regression and other statistical methods, analyze moral hazard and adverse selection theory. This is really important because sometimes people make tests, but the tests are invalidated based on the way they're running it and the data that they're collecting. So really interesting things. It's a great field to go into. Hopefully we're sparking some curiosity there. But that's something you'd have to look forward to if you were to go more into that area. Behavioral economics. How do subtle nudges impact choices? How do individuals evaluate and respond to risk? How do option presentations impact decision outcomes? Why do people often prioritize short term gains over long term benefits? This is great. If you're going into marketing, you're going into organizational leadership, you name it, this helps you understand how people work and what they do. And we have a set of tools to really open this up, such as crafting experiments to reveal the hidden intricacies of human behavior, design choice environments that steer individuals towards desired outcomes, uncover empirical insights into real world decision making. I mean, this is huge as far as when you're working at a business saying, hey, how are our people doing? How are the people making the choices when they interact with our product or with products we're trying to get them to go towards? And it's really interesting, especially if you get into some marketing courses where they have like completely set up stores just to study these outcomes and just see what people do with what decisions as an individual, as groups on whole. Very interesting field, lots of crossover there. Let's go ahead and keep moving. Money and banking, okay? With money and banking, you're going to have some interesting issues, such as with our monetary systems and different tools that the Fed has. We have historical events that have shaped the monetary systems. What is the connection between Federal Reserve and interest rates? And then what is the impact of interest rate changes on borrowing, spending, and investment? And right now, it's really interesting. Right now, as this video, interest rates are fairly high. But it's not only the interest rate now, but also you have to start looking at, hey, what is the interest rate going to be? Because a lot of times people act not only on what something is, but what they predict it's going to be. And if the Fed is signaling both short-term and long-term changes to that interest rate, that's going to start changing people's actions. And then tools, we have used the data from the Federal Reserve Bank, revealing insights through analysis, engage in interactive scenarios to understand policy, tools, and impacts, analyze the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, gaining practical experience. This really is great, especially if you're looking going more into the money and banking sector as far as career. These things affect dramatically as far as the loans that are made, how they make them, how sure they need to be based on what's coming in with the federal rates. So, and also just everything seeing the economy in general as far as the money supply that's available to them, and then the interest rate changes, and then when you look at the borrowing, spending, and investment changes that both people and companies make as a whole based on what's out there. So, great questions, great tools to discover and really display the correlations between them. Skills and tasks to emphasize. The biggest thing about getting a minor in economics isn't just like you can put it on your sheet and show it to people and it looks great. It's the SMART degree, looks great. You put it on there, it's going to help you get into the places, help you stand out. But also collecting and manipulating data, applying statistical methods to drill down and uncover relationships, you will have the tools necessary to really do well in those areas. Learning about new product industries, regions, business models, and finally communicating findings through graphs and reports. After you've done all that work, when you're able to be there in a group of people and say, hey, based on the data, these are the recommended actions, and this is what we're seeing that's going to happen in the market, then you're who people are looking to in the room, regardless of the organization that you're in. It really will set you apart. It'll get you to move to where you need to go. And a lot of it, like I said, not only do we have the classes, but you'll be able to do a little bit of portfolio and say, hey, these are the things we actually analyzed. This is the data that we had. This is the results we came up with. And this is what we can start doing and using as you start working with groups. So, and show them that your ability to work with data. Famous people with a degree in economics. It's when you look at this list, we got a bunch of presidents up there. We got Warren Buffett, you got Elon Musk, Tiger Woods. Take a minute, look at those. Sandra Day O'Connor. Economics really is the SMART degree. It has a lot of cross function in there, and it'll help you get into a lot of areas you might not normally been able to get into. People will look at it and they're like, okay, yeah, get this person in. If it's a certain position or whether it's getting into a certain area, especially in government, anything government based, it'll help a lot. Not sure about what to major in. The minor in applied economics complements most of the minors in the integrated studies. So right there, we got a link for you to take a look at. The minor in applied economics can be paired with any minor from the Woodbury School of Business. This is where we really get into what's called targeting. If you have an economics minor and then you get it with another minor and you're really trying to get into a certain career field, whether it be data science with the applied data analytics, computer science, homeland security, information systems technology, mathematics, national security studies, political science, it's going to really help get you, especially with those governmental jumps. There's a lot of need, especially like I'm looking at the NSA now in Utah and like whether it be FBI, CIA, that will help get you into those areas because really when they look at economics, especially if you pair it with any of these other ones, they're like you're just going to have the skill set with what's in demand in those agencies. And right now data manipulation, data interpretation is big for people to be able to look at it and be able to see what does this data mean, how can we use it in different methods, what can we do to take a look at this data and get the most out of it, so and get those analytics working. All right. Thank you and questions. All right. So with this, take a moment. Think about how a minor in economics could help you. Take a look at those classes. Take a look if you want to pair it with another minor in the business school, and a lot of the cross functionality in there as far as having those work together. And really, when you start looking at these things, you can work with your professors, with your instructors, with your academic advisor to really say, hey, what would be a good plan to go in this? I think this would be a good thing to complement with some of what I'm going. And if you're able to pair that with some of the other minors in there, it goes really well. It just works out really good for you to stand out from the crowd. And that's one of the hardest things right now is you need to stand out from the crowd as far as getting jobs, as far as getting into higher programs. This will help you do that. This will help you do it, especially if you're doing anything that's like post grad. You want to go into economics, looks great if you're going into postgraduate work. But yeah, take a minute, think about it. And also, like I said, not only is it what you're going to get on the paper, but the tools themselves, regardless of what organization you go into, if you can apply economic theory and the data sets and be able to work with data, you can just show people this is how it works, this is what we should do, and move people along. And it intersects with so many points of business that you'll be looking at going into. That's all I have for you. You see, we got a little code there for you to scan if you need more. But thank you for everything and do well. All right. Take care. Bye.